years to push them back, but we did. What was once a prosperous river trade, the Mississippi, is now the front line. The eastern states supply the river states, and what's left of the UA live out their meager days self-policing. What is the West hiding? Nobody really knows for sure. But we're alive, and this is the new frontier.
When we last left you, you had finished off the raiders who were unloading the rail driver, claiming your goods for their own. Pushing the cart down about 15-20 feet down the line, you heard the large scream of one of the infected, who was standing as a sentry, looking to see where all of the commotion came from. And right now, she seems to be the only one peering with an aura of the morning sun kind of pushing behind her.
I think that I should get the rail driver going. Like start fueling it up, get it going.
I agree.
And then start getting our shit back in there, and then you guys can take care of this infected so we can get the hell out.
When I saw these guys starting to pump the hand cart,
Yeah.
did it seem faster than I could run? Or if I was carrying something?
Oh, if you were carrying something? No, I mean, it takes time to get those things up and moving.
Okay.
Like, you got to build momentum with a rail cart.
Yeah.
You know? So there's
Okay.
there's a large amount of crates, and based on what you're seeing in there, they got a lot on there. I mean, you could estimate, presumably, that about a quarter of the total rail driver's capacity is sitting on this hand cart at the moment.
Okay.
You know? So you can hear the moans of the two bleeding men as they are basically attempting to sustain anything, and you can hear them muttering curses under their breath.
I look at the slumped over raider, and he's gurgling on his blood and stuff like that. And I go, don't worry, you're coming with us, but you won't survive.
Right.
And you won't need this. And I pull the gun out.
So as you're grabbing this gun, you can hear the last gasping howl of the creature that is sitting on the top, as you can start to see that it is leaping onto a boxcar that is in front of it. And all of you can see the rail driver in front of you. Now, you could tell that it was unloaded from a nondescript boxcar earlier. So it's much, much smaller, or only a little bit smaller than one of these larger containers, as you can see. Okay. Now, the rail driver is a custom piece of engineering done by Stern Industries. It is essentially a large armored car that has been modified to burn coal and wood in order to heat steam and drive forward like the locomotives of old. Now, behind that, it is pulling essentially a modified armored motorhome. Really, yeah. It's one of the ones that's a camper that has two tiers onto it, which even has a small hatch in which you could see it has a kill box up at the very top to be able to provide a scout and vantage point. So as a result, it's fairly top heavy as far as the second rail goes. Now, this single armored car has been adjusted. And you know this, Jenny, because it's one of the one things that you asked about. And Asher, this is one of the most difficult things the company has ever done. But the rail driver is an all-terrain vehicle, which essentially means that with the proper time, effort, and energy, it can be taken off of the tracks in order to be driven on regular terrain.
Good.
Choo choo, yeah, it's awesome.
All right, but you know, this all requires new wheels, putting it up, jacking it up, putting it back down. It's not a quick thing.
Sure.
Go gadget, real thing.
Yeah, if only.
Let's do that when they're not being attacked by infected creatures. Yeah.
And everything that you've managed to ask for is loaded in on this, except for, of course, in the motorhome part, you can see that the back door, which is, it looks a lot like a ramp that would come down, has been opened, and now it's laying on the tracks as the stuff is being unloaded. Oh, Asher, I should probably tell you as well, too, that you can start to feel your hands beginning to get wet.
Yeah. Yeah.
As blood is beginning to pool inside of your very, very new gloves.
Nails do that.
I turn around
She's
and
midair,
to continue my long litany of expletives, I scream out really loud, "Not now, motherfucker!" and shoot her as she's screaming through the air, and get eyes on her right in the head.
and she tumbles backwards right off of the second story of that boxcar. Splat! You can actually hear the bones crunch from this far away.
Now that's what I'm talking
That
about.
was a 180 no scope.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Excellent. And then,
I'm still pissed, so I'm jumping off his
Bandit
box.
starts clapping
Right.
as he's running.
Keep running. Shut up.
I'm hoofing it.
hoofing it. All right, so let's get you right over to where our Stingray is.
Oh, I would definitely go this way.
Oh, okay.
Stingray for cover,
Yeah, I didn't realize I didn't know if you were gonna go in front of that boxcar or behind it. So.
in between the cover.
All right. Well, you can definitely make it to the rail driver with
Huzzah!
your total.
Well,
So,
High five.
all right. Asher.
I huff it to the rail driver, set myself up in the top. With
Right.
it has like the viewing area, right?
Yeah.
To shoot out of.
Right. So you drop a clip and pop a new one in. It is, by the way, a very well-built, armored mobile home.
Thank you.
Nice.
And the
sucking
ladder leading up into it was to get to the crow's nest, the kill box. Kind of just like the inside of a submarine. There's sleeping quarters on top and sleeping quarters on bottom. So just like just kind of like inside of a submarine, there's just a single ladder that kind of takes you up to the second level, which is where you're going to be.
We
in.
Stern don't mess around.
I didn't make it all the way back to the rail driver,
That's for sure.
and and I didn't want to strain myself.
Yeah.
So I put down the box, the crate that I'm carrying.
Yeah.
And I get down behind it, and I sort of crouch so I can see over it and still see what's happening.
Yeah.
But I didn't make it as far as I wanted.
So let's
to.
say you got halfway there.
Okay.
Instead. Yeah. So Wraith, as you're leaving, you can actually hear one of the men who is alive, but barely thus, is actually with every ounce of his strength is yelling to you like, "Don't leave me here! Don't let them take me! No!"
That's gonna be a hard no for me, dog.
So you can start to hear them. As they start just coming out through various places all around boxcars from different
crap.
parts of the railway.
From my little crow's nest here, I can see Wraith having put down the box.
Yes.
And I'm calling out to him right now, pick up the fucking box!
But he's near Stingray now.
I can grab the box and run.
Both of you pick up the fucking box! And I left the ramp down on purpose,
Right,
hoping
right.
you guys would get a box in here.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick it up and get going.
So I've made it into the rail driver.
Yeah,
I
you're
want
in.
to call top bunk.
Band-Aid priorities.
No, I want to help prepping it because
Okay.
with Jenny.
So you're starting to basically do the systems check
Yeah.
that is necessary.
Yeah.
And you're starting to heat,
We're throwing fuel in the firebox.
throwing
Getting
fuel in
it-
the firebox. Yeah. So we're getting it moving. So, and you're having Band-Aid grab fire,
Yeah.
firewood, put it inside of there as you're starting to light it,
Fan
get it
it.
heated up.
I jumped down with my rifle. We had a weird like dancey moment. He put it down. We just fumbled and we did a I Love Lucy mess. We did a Lucille Ball mess.
Yes.
So I finally end up grabbing the box, but I'm way slow. And by the time I get it up,
It's also way heavier than both of you really imagined, even with both of you kind of getting into it. So we're going to say with those, again, you didn't make it to the rail driver.
Oh hell no!
I told you it's heavy. That's why I put it down.
That's quite all right. And the 98-pounder is coming to help me.
You wanted to help.
I did want to help. I'm right here. Where are you?
So you make it about another quarter of a way to the rail driver, putting you to the last quarter, right before you're about
Thanks,
to load
dude.
the box.
Thank
in.
you.
Thanks for fixing us from on high.
You watch as you can hear the boilers start to churn, and you can start to feel the heat as the steam is starting to rise from the main spout in the front of this converted armor car. Through the small wisping parts of the smoke, you can actually see as one of the creatures just leaps up, and you can
Ew.
hear metal screech as it rakes its claws across the bottom of the boxcar. And you can see it just for a moment as it lands right onto the top. You maybe had a shot for a brief glimpse of the moment, but just as quickly it's gone as it finishes its arc down onto the bottom of the boxcar. Jenny, it's almost like if you were trained for this explicitly. So in the same way that you, it's almost like a second home to you as you start twisting all of the knobs, throwing the fire in, and that thing just starts burning as if someone tossed kerosene on it, which maybe you did in order to get that thing up and moving. But no matter what, you can actually start to feel the engine start to pull against its own brakes a little bit
Okay.
as the momentum is starting to build up and the steam is starting to gain purchase, to where the point of, at some point, you feel like you could probably get a little bit of movement if you started to adjust the speed on the rail driver.
I do.
Okay, so are you going slow or are you going
We're gonna
full?
go slow. I want to roll out slow, and you guys just get in. Just
right.
get in.
Yeah.
So she pulls the main speed lever in order to break it into a slow crawl, and you guys start to feel, Asher, you start to feel as this thing, as it starts to feel as the large connecting pinions start to move the wheels as it begins making a slow crawl along the rails.
I'm gonna move back towards the ramp. I'm gonna take out my pistol and I'm gonna aim it for backup, and because I see them coming.
I see. Okay, so you pull your pistol out to kind of look at it, but you are finding yourself not, you're just kind of like watching them.
Yeah.
And you're not watching around you.
Sure.
At all.
I'm just like, come on.
Yeah, you're more excited in the outcome of this than you are looking for potential targets.
Technically, I don't see the infected anyway, so I don't know that they or the
Where they
infected.
are on the
Yeah,
box.
hear 'em.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to put a lot of focus down into that guy.
Which one, the red shirt or the orange
Orange
shirt?
shirt is my target
Cool.
originally.
You pop a couple rounds into it, and you watch as it like stumbles and drops. You dropped it. You didn't kill it, but you watch as it kind of like stumbles down and like picks itself up a little bit, and enough to just give you the dirtiest look on the planet. Before you watch as the rail driver continues to push off. But it is not dead, but it is non-operable at this moment.
Oh, I made the infected mad.
You hurt his feelings.
So,
Oh,
Band-Aid,
boy.
as you're watching both Stingray and Wraith kind of picking up the box, you watch as two of them just around the corner of the boxcar, and you can see them as they almost look like they're in a full sprint, as you can see some of their ragged clothes.
Towards them or
essentially
towards us?
Straight towards these two. As you can see, some of their ragged cloth is whipping right behind them in like a full breeze. As you can see, they're like cloudy, milk white eyes, and some of their long, especially on the female, they're this long, ragged, dirty hair. Is there's just as they just start running straight towards Wraith and Stingray.
So I just kind of lean into it.
Right.
And then
She's
just
still
start
attached.
no, just
dangling
put
off
your
of
arms
it.
up,
Right.
and
Right.
you know.
So as this thing is
I'll take
starting to
more of the
move,
load.
you're basically cursing Jenny under your breath because this thing's getting farther away
Yeah.
as you are running towards it. As you pick up this box and just with a howl of adrenaline
Yeah.
and just partial rage, you're just bake this box and then heft it straight into the back of the rail driver, and you hear it into the back, almost
dodged.
knocking over Band-Aid in the process, as now both you and Stingray basically just need to get on the boat, as they
Okay.
say. And you run! How well did you run, you two?
We ran great.
You made the track team.
We did
I,
good running.
I run with my arms out like this.
Oh my god!
So after I've hucked the box, I actually end up running faster than you, and I get on first.
Clearly.
So I run up the ramp with my ninja run.
Yes.
And then I skid to a stop, and I turn around, and you're almost on the ramp,
I'm
too.
almost on the ramp.
I go, see, you're not the best at everything.
Never said I was. Give me a fucking hand.
And you pull her up
Yep.
as she lines up, and
I shut the door.
Band-Aid pulls the lever up as you watch it cocoon, cocoon, as the rail driver is completely locked and secured. And you can hear the boom of a couple of the creatures just jumping onto the side of the
Bouncing
rail
off.
driver and then bouncing off and skittling along the side.
It's a new paint job.
As this thing just continues to gain more and more speed. Shoo-shung, 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 shoo-shung. Now, you've cleared the St. Louis train station. You're basically taking this thing at what speed, Jenny?
So we're going about 35.
Yes, 35 is about the max that you can get onto
Okay.
this thing without burning any additional coal.
Gotcha.
But that's going to get the thing up to a pretty reasonable speed on rails at this stage. So, Jenny, as you're barreling this rail driver along at 35 miles an hour, you are clearly outpacing the infected who are running behind you at this stage. And your brain reminds you that, yes, while this thing absolutely has a top speed of 35 miles an hour when running on wood, it does not mean it is a safe speed. So you're going pretty fast in this thing, and you can already start to feel the improvised armored car starting to rattle a little
Okay.
bit.
I slow down.
So as we exit the station,
Yeah.
I come down from the little crow's nest here.
As you come out down immediately, sit down.
I push you aside, physically. I get in Jenny's face and say, what the fuck was that? This is supposed to be a crack team. We almost got steamrolled in there. As I pull off my gloves, which sop to the floor.
Blood pools out from
Oh,
them.
God. All right, I start taking out bandages.
All right, we had no idea how many infected there were, and they kept coming. Okay.
Not to mention, asshole, who was the one who let on that we were there when he walked around and cleared his fucking throat? Was that?
Thank
Did
you,
they teach
Ray.
you that in
Thank you.
Stealth 101? Don't get on her.
You've got me there.
I disinfect your wounds without any ceremony.
You were also the first to start shooting.
Yeah, maybe don't do
How
that.
do you think they heard us? How do you think these infected were attracted?
What do you think was our alternative?
Maybe talk to them? They could have been, we're all smugglers here. It could have been
We
reasonably.
spoke to them. We're all smug. Okay, fine.
You
We
occupy them
spoke
with
to them.
talking. I sneak up and shoot them with my arrow, which is quiet.
You want to kill them all with your bow? Is that how you had that planned out?
You got a problem with this team, you're welcome to do this all by yourself. This is who you got.
You want the money. Come on.
I can get money plenty of ways, pretty boy.
I overheard your conversation back in town. You're about the money too, friend.
I'm about a lot more than money. This
Right
whole
now-
mission
right
is
now
about
you're
a
about bleeding.
lot more than money.
I'm not listening to this. I'm going
Yeah,
up to the
you-
crow's nest.
You don't know what you're doing out here. We do. All right. So sit down, get bandaged up, and let's just drive this thing. Okay.
You want to describe to me how
Yeah,
you get
so
him going?
initially I was just haphazardly like disinfecting the wounds and kind of wrapping them and letting it kind of like bleed through the bandages. And as time has passed, I'd let it like kind of clot a bit and then reapply the bandages. And that's all that it needed. But you didn't have to be a jerk about everything.
No, you're right. If we're all here, I'm sorry. That was a very tense situation for me. Obviously, you're hilarious. Obviously, this is my first time in the frontier.
What?
I'm trying here, man, okay?
Sorry.
I respect the experience you all have, and obviously you were hired for a reason. I want to make sure that we do keep our coordination tight going forward, and I recognize my part in this. So, I'm sorry. Let's keep the mission going, and hopefully not have any more bumps in the road.
So I want to take the gloves and kind of wring them out into the
I see what you're going
flasks.
for.
Oh.
And then dilute it with some of the water from my own personal canteen and
Okay.
then stopper them.
Oh, great.
Well
Okay.
played.
'Cause
Stinky
those are
sticks.
stink bombs.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't have to explain anything to you.
Excellent.
Fair enough.
So for inventory wise, how are we doing on fuel? Did they take anything?
Yeah.
or-
Curious about fuel,
No
water,
wood
and
was taken.
Okay.
Food and water, some was taken. Absolutely.
Okay.
So you originally had enough to take care of you for 3 weeks, all three of you for 3 weeks. Now there's a little less than that.
Having recovered the box,
Yes.
You need one?
we didn't end up losing a lot.
You lost only a little. You lost a little less than a third
Of mostly food and water.
of just supplies inside of the rail driver.
Okay.
All of your kind of more elite items that you requested, like the mountain bikes, the ham radio, and the satellite phone batteries, those are still in there. At this point, though, you're far enough away from the major city limits of St. Louis, where a huge part of nature has started to come in and take over. In fact, a large portion of this 45-minute drive, while Asher was getting patched up, slowly the rubble and gray and brown that is part of the kill zone of St. Louis is starting to slowly transition into a large, green, fertile, overgrown area.
Wraith is in the crow's nest with you, and you can see that he looks much more relaxed. He's chewing on a piece of rabbit jerky and just sort of
Oh, good.
inhaling the fresh nature.
All right.
Oh, I almost forgot. I found this on one of our friends.
Oh.
And
Oh, the gun, the pistol.
I pull out this
Right.
pistol.
And you can actually see a theme park, an old rusted theme
Aw,
park
6 flags.
on the right side of the road. And it's amazing that they're still standing after decades, but you can actually see a large portion of them have that old man's beard that's coming down of the moss. And so a lot of the old parts of the roller coasters sometimes look like large frowning faces with long beards dangling down from it. So it's the one thing that does break the skyline up amongst a vast wath of flat.
I look at Asher as we're going by the amusement park, and I say, "Don't get excited, kid. We're not stopping."
I start playing with my lock a little bit more fidgety as we pass it.
The tunnel in which the trains of the old age may have gone through, you can actually now see a large plywood sheet laid up along the entire front of the tunnel. And you can see that it's been made up of large pieces of plywood reinforced by a couple of 2x4s, and it just seems to be a wooden wall that's been tacked on to the old stone archway that is in the middle of your rail line.
That's not an obstacle. Someone or something is living in there.
I try and stop as safely and as quickly as possible.
As soon as we see it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So as you start to slow the engine down, it coasts pretty close. Yeah, giving yourself like a lurch as you guys stop. I'm gonna guess about 250, maybe 300 feet.
Oh, okay, that's not bad at all.
Before, I mean, you had a pretty straight shot as far as looking at it goes, and as soon as you see the bridge and into it, it only takes about 50 or 60 or so feet to slow down at that speed.
Do we all want to go have a look at this?
Yeah.
I'm going for sure.
All right, so who's
Sound good?
staying in the rail driver? Who's going?
I'll,
I want to go and be sneaky.
you go be sneaky. I'll be in
I'm
the
just gonna
crow's
walk over.
nest,
Okay,
keeping an eye out.
great.
Keep an eye on this guy.
Do it.
All right,
Thanks, man.
so the four of you and Stingray staying in the tower.
I'm bringing we have like axes and stuff for like clearing brush.
Go grab it.
It's the big one, right?
It's a big one.
Oh my goodness.
Awesome.
Now that's an axe.
So that'll help
my
clear.
axe.
And here's the card for it. So Band-Aid on your way back. You're welcome to take that. As Wraith and Band-Aid approach with
I'm up there
And
too.
Asher.
and Asher, but Wraith and Band-Aid are carrying with crowbars and axes along the way as you're walking forward. You can start to see this plywood wall has a little bit of splash of color on it. You can start to see that they maybe actually done a little bit in order to try to make it blend with the countryside, and matching parts of the arched stoneway, which is also covered in vinery and greenery as well. And as you start walking closer and closer to it, you hear the large cacao of a rifle shot, ping, as dust and rocks kind of explode
Just hit the
right next to you. So as all four of you dive into the grass, you can hear amongst the silence, because at that point, after the crack went off, you just saw birds as they kind of like came out from all different parts of the high grass, and silence kind of permeates after that single rifle shot went off.
Did we all dive into the same grass? I think so. What did you see? All I know is that it's completely boarded up from top to bottom. It's just wood. Did you see any other way inside besides that?
No, friend. I did not.
And that is all we spotted, right? It's a bridge, and
Yeah, it's still about 200 feet away. The
completely-
fine details of the patched up tunnel are still pretty vague at this point.
Okay. I think we should try and just regroup at the very least. We don't have to storm the palace, but we should find our other teammates here.
I'm gonna do a listen check for no reason.
Right. As long as you're specified, it's for no reason.
Yeah.
I also have
in
very
general.
high survival, so can I imitate a specific bird call that these two would recognize?
Everybody knows you're there. No problems. So,
Well, we're hoping for a response so we can pinpoint where they are.
My response is to sneak over to where the call came from.
okay, great.
So, what is that?
Is this
Stealth?
still? Yeah, this is still stealth. If you want to undisturb the grass, if you just want to go for it, you can go for it.
I'll try at least to be sneaky.
Yeah, I'd rather you not give us away.
All right, you have to get up and run across the rails.
Oh, yeah, because I went to the other side.
Right. How many degrees of failure was it?
3.
3? Okay. So as you're running, you hear a loud cacao again. As you see
laying there like, oh
more
my
in
fucking
front
God.
of you, it's than anything, you just watch as more dirt spray. And you actually hear at this point someone yelling from very, very far off. It's like, go home.
I'm just gonna stand there and raise my hands.
In the middle?
Yeah.
In the middle of the railway?
Well, yeah. I'm
Okay.
just gonna stop as soon as the shot hits.
All right, and
Like-
you're there, hands up.
Yeah.
So you guys all hear this as well, too.
I'd like to call out to this guy.
Okay.
All right. So from my position, because at this distance, sound will not totally give me away in
Yeah.
terms of where I am, but I'd like to yell out, "We're just trying to get through the rail. We don't care about your stuff."
The rail is in the middle of our stuff.
Could you move it?
What are you doing out here? And you can still, through your binoculars,
Right.
Ray, you can clearly see that this man has not poked his head out.
Right, it's
You
just
can-
the rifle.
You can clearly still see the rifle barrel is through the peephole, and that's it at this stage. We have no reason to move. This is our home.
We're willing to trade.
We're establishing a new supply line to Livingston. It's very important that we get through. Please, we don't care about your stuff. We don't want to hurt you. Just let us go. Let us go through. We will leave you guys alone.
So, Asher, you drop
I'm
off
talking to myself. I
your
can't see.
handgun with Wraith as you walk over to the front, and you can actually see as you get closer,
Hands are up.
hands are up, and you watch as like there is actually because this thing is several stories tall, right? So about 8 feet-ish up or so, you can actually watch as like a wooden plank, like kind of one of the ones that's part of the boarded up, just kind of like comes down on chains and kind of like a perch. And you watch as like a spry-looking Asian man kind of like steps himself up and kind of crawls up to the one of the porch and goes, "What's your name?"
Asher Emerson Stern III.
All right, Asher Emerson Stern III. That's a fucking Yankee. You're not coming through the home. Like, do you see that we've built a little place here?
I do. It's quite nice. I'd like to make you guys an offer.
Do you want to talk to the boss, huh?
Yeah, I'd like to.
All right. Hey, why don't you have your friends come over here? Because I really don't think Jimmy wants to put any holes in anybody today.
That would be
That's
nice.
fair. Could they wait in the rail driver instead?
No. Why don't you have them all come inside? I think we'll all be much, much happier if we can see all of you.
Okay,
and
fine.
There is 5 of you.
We okay
right?
with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shut your mouth, Asher. We're all coming.
Yeah. Shut your mouth, Asher.
I like him.
Pliability, okay. Yeah, it sounds great.
All right, great. So as the 4 of you kind of come out from various parts of the bushes,
Just been the whole time.
and walking down the rail line, you see as this guy kind of like hops down onto the side of the ledges in like a single motion and like drops down as the plyboard goes boom. As he like drops down the 6 or so feet to the bottom to where you're at, and like, all right. And you watch as he like checks his keys a little bit, rustles, and grabs a large kind of a simple padlock key, and he goes over and starts unlocking various parts of the doors from the outside.
With the same key?
No, with different keys on a
ring?
On a ring. So he starts taking a bunch of individual keys and starts unlocking all the various padlocks as he drops it and swings the metal door open. So, you can see that the hinges are pretty reinforced against the concrete and stone work that is inside of the archway that it's on top of. But on the other side of it, it's just pitch black, except for like a small orange glow kind of permeating from it. And he goes, "Welcome to Archtown."
Thank you.
And
I'm gonna turn around. Are you still at the
I'm
crow's
up there and I
nest?
got eyes on you guys and I got,
I'm just gonna be like,
yeah, so he if you haven't been coming out, it goes, "Hey, wait. Your girl in the tower too."
Yeah, they know you're in there.
yeah.
all right, here I come.
All right. So by the time Ray gets up to this door into Archtown, so to speak, you can see a large, burly mountain man kind of a guy with a plaid lumberjack kind of tone and just a kilt with long boots that come up to his knees, as well as simply a couple of you can see that he just took metal and just wrapped it around his arms and then just laced it with a bunch of leather.
I like this
And you can
guy.
actually see that he's got a metal coif around his neck as well too as he comes and goes, "All right,
So who do I talk to here?
That would be me. Yeah, just get it out. That's great.
All right, so who am I really talking to here?
Yeah, no, this is my mission. This is my expedition.
All right. Well, look, no guns in sight, so Terry here will take all of your sidearms and your man. Don't worry, no one's gonna shoot you here, all right? But we don't allow any projectile weapons inside of the town. It's infrastructure's bad. It's also dark, really dark.
I'm liking this place.
He
more
checks
and
out.
more.
Yeah.
So leave your stuff with Terry, then you can come inside.
I'm already out. I don't have anything. So.
Right. So as this bear of a man escorts you essentially inside this town, you can see that it is a pretty small community for what is called Archtown. So as you all kind of come into this like dark, ominous abode, it looks a lot like if you had an upper class version of some kind of underground shanty, like where homeless people would have lived on the side of the freeways during the old era, but it has been plussed up a lot. And it's made to look as homey and as decorative as something like that can be. A lot of the more fixed structures seem to just be 2x4s that have been pulled up, not even posted into the ground, but they're just leaning up, and the most fixed structures are actually ones that are pinned into the wall of the arch. And since it's not a huge amount of space, you can see that the community probably houses 10, 15 people tops. So it's really sparse, and you can kind of get it all pretty much in a glance. But again, this giant bear of a dude comes in. Yeah, this is this is just where we all collect for the night. We've got a few other people up and around. But all right, boss man, why don't you step into my office and let's talk about your deal.
Sure. All right.
So this guy kind of escorts you up into the main room, leaving you four essentially to go explore Archtown a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, I want to take a look around and see if there's any way we can actually get a train through without
Destroying
without
stuff.
destroying
Right.
stuff. Maybe there's a compromise. Maybe I could help design a new door that opens up for the supply line or something.
Yeah. Well, we can, as you're looking across and kind of gathering all of this assessment, you can see that a lot of the structures that are on the rail line, I mean, it's not very comfortable. So even there's actually some shanties or some parts of the town that are just as wide as the rail. You know, so there's like a wall on one side and wall on the other side, and they've used it a little bit to prep it up. But the one thing that does bother you a little bit is you can actually see where the cross beams have been pulled out, and it's just now rail, and you can see where they clearly dug out some of the underlying kind of loose gravel that's usually laid out for when rail track is put down, has been dug out so they can pull these pieces of wood out and reuse them to build their structures.
So are most of the structures wood, or is it?
Most of
like
the structures
tin?
are wood and or tin or aluminum.
Okay.
So either sheet metal
metal, yeah.
or pieces of strong wood. And you can actually see some where they've used like they've repurposed like camping hatches that would be on the top of trucks. Or there's even an old mobile home in there that seems to be actually the source of most of the power, because you can hear the generator in the back turning.
And can we see? Can we see through it to the other side, or is that?
You can
blocked
see
off?
the end. You can definitely see the top of the end, which is essentially a mirror of the door that you
Okay.
came through. So they've blocked up the other side as well too, pretty well.
So you're saying we could, in theory, get the train through. We just
You
need
could.
to put the
Rail back
You'd
together.
have to put the
Cross
rail
beams
back.
together.
You'd have to put the cross beams back together, and you'd have to move some structures.
some structure.
You know, not all of them, but it's definitely a through line. And you can also see that they have their own hand cart that seems to be parked towards the rear entrance.
If you're gonna go talk to Terry, I just want to pull you aside real quick, and Wraith too, and like keeping an eye out to see who else is listening. And I want to relatively private.
Yeah.
If shit hits the fan, we can always smoke them out. That's the least amount of casualties, and with the people being removed from the tunnel. Just something to keep in mind.
Okay.
So as you four are kind of assessing and looking around, you can see that a couple of people are showing interest in you. And Terry's like, yeah, man, we haven't seen anyone over from the eastern states in a long time. Mostly we just see the copters fly by. I don't know, man. Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely would. I've heard pretty good things about the UA, and no, I mean, this is, to be fair, this is a shit show out here, man. This is like, there's infected every single night when we come across. We hear them literally packing around the doors almost every night. It is terrifying out here. But if you've seen that little rail cart of ours, it doesn't go very far before it gets nighttime.
If we manage to get over here, it means we can probably get back. Only problem is we need to get through.
Well, I mean, we spent a long time trying to just get this little thing secured. I don't know how the boss is going to feel about making a big old arc in the doorway, just a big old welcome inside kind of a situation.
I am curious how the boss is going to feel.
Well, we'll get to that.
I was gonna say, but we got some skills.
Yeah, not only that, you said that you saw the helicopters coming by, right?
Right.
What if we had access to those helicopters and could get you safely?
No shit.
to St.
Making a
Louis?
lot of fucking promises.
I could get a ride in a fucking helicopter?
Yeah, buddy.
That's awesome! Oh, man. You can watch as like his excitement is palpable, like he's been living inside of this dark hole for who knows how long. Man, this smirk that he's got across his face suddenly becomes very serious. It's like, wait, do you guys have medicine?
Maybe.
Sarah! And you watch as he starts just barreling out towards over there, and you watch as he grabs a woman who is about maybe 35 or so.
Get ready
and
to be
comes out.
popular.
And he comes back and goes, do you have any antibiotics, any penicillin, anything?
Listen, I'm unfortunately not in charge of this mission. You're gonna have to talk to the big guy.
Oh yeah,
Make
now
sure you,
you're not. Okay.
Make sure you go and bug him.
Oh, okay. Mister, I respect that completely, but well, Sarah, you tell him. And you watch as she just has, like, you can tell that there is just grief in this woman's face as she turns to you and goes, my son is sick. And well, I don't know what he has. And if any of you are a doctor or any of you have anything on hand to maybe help my boy, he's just 5, okay? I didn't mean to have him, but he's here and he's with us and he's just vomiting all of the time. Now, he's not infected, I promise you. He hasn't been in contact with anything, but I don't know, I think he just had some bad water and it's just going through him every day. Do you have anything?
Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Let's just take a look.
All right, I'll take a look.
Okay.
I'll come with you.
So Sarah escorts you over to a lean-to that is, it's modest, but it's definitely insulated, and you can tell that it is, while it's extremely warm, there is a young boy of about 10 years old on the floor. He is just shivering. And if you want, you can make a first aid check to kind of just check the severity of what his situation is.
I hit my number.
Yeah.
I've been rolling so high.
It's fine. You hit the number, and you look at him, and you can. He's
He'll be fine. Just run around a bit. It's a kid. He'll bounce back.
Walk it off.
Okay, so it's viral. It's probably because he just looks like he's got stupid amount of dehydration. He's clearly dehydrated, and he's just dripping in sweat and has a raging fever. So.
You know what we need to get him? We don't need to get him antibiotics if he's viral. We need to get this kid hydrated.
Yeah. I think, you know what? Thank you for bringing me to him. Does he seem?
Yes. What's wrong with him?
It seems like he's just severely dehydrated.
Okay.
At this point, back in our machine, I might have an IV drip that I'd be able to.
Oh my God! He can't hold down any water. Like he just, it's like it just goes right through him.
Right. That's priority number 1 is to get him hydrated.
Okay. All right. Is there anything I can do, or can I help you, or to bring it over here?
You know what? Let's bring him to our machine.
Okay. All right. Here. And you watch as she kind of like grabs the boy, wraps him up in the cloak.
I don't want to cause a scene. The best thing that we can do is keep this under wraps.
She like
I'm a doctor.
kind of hands the bundle over to you cautiously, goes, just anything you can do. And she just passes you the child as he is just bundled up, and you can tell he's in and out of consciousness.
He's febrile. We got to get him hooked up to saline right away.
So in the meantime, you can kind of see Terry, who's just now like he's watching this go down, but like that previous excitement, now he kind of has like anxiety a little bit in his mind. He just keeps looking up towards the boss's office where Asher is presumably meeting up with him.
Terry, we're gonna need you to help us get this kid out and then back in.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. No. This is important. So absolutely.
Hey. Inside voice.
Okay. All right. I'll stay at the door, and if anyone comes, I'll just knock a bunch of times, and I'll just do what I can to hold them. Okay?
I have to ask you one more favor, Terry, and you've got to trust us really hardcore this time. We're going out there, and we're going out there without any firearms. Can you give us back one?
Oh, you're going outside of the building? Okay. Yeah. All right. He hands at least probably Jenny's rifle and her stuff back at least, while he has the small arms.
Are
with
they
him.
coming too?
Are you coming, Wraith?
I was gonna remain.
Yeah, you guys stay
Okay,
put.
yeah.
We'll
Then I'll
handle
just
this.
give Band-Aid his handgun back.
Okay,
So,
not my rifle.
no, because you're carrying the kid.
Fair point.
All right, so as you leave, you can kind of see Terry just nervously hanging by the door, checking himself every once in a while as we go up into the top with all the Bear Man and the Asher speak. So, so what are you doing in my little arch town?
Well, actually, first let me introduce myself. I'm Asher Emerson Stern.
All right,
III.
Asher Emerson Stern III. Nice to meet you.
Likewise, and I didn't catch your name.
You can call me Bear.
Bear. Fantastic. Well, Bear, we're setting up a supply line here over
Right.
to the Livingston community. They just had the line from Chicago get knocked out.
Who
so
the
we're trying to
hell
help
is the
them out.
Livingston community?
You guys have been out here for a while, I take it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. Well, here's what we need. We need to ideally get through here on the
Through
train.
here to where? Out in the middle of butt fucking nowhere?
Out toward Kansas City.
Shit.
That's where we're headed.
You know that place is unreclaimable, right?
I do, yeah.
I don't get why you want to go to Kansas City, but you can't go through my town.
We're ending just shy of Kansas City before things get bad. And we're looking to carve a path out west to make this area more safe. If there is a functioning supply line through this area, however we end up doing it, that does mean your town and your people will have access to medical supplies, food, water, better infrastructure that you would never get any other way. So I'd be open to allowing you partial ownership of this leg of the rail, allowing you to collect tolls and have some autonomy.
Well, here's the reality of the situation. One, I don't give a shit about your UA laws of reacclimation. This is my town.
That's fair.
This is my part. But I am interested in food and medicine and a trade route. So here's what we're going to do, Asher. You're going to barter and bribe with this guy a little bit.
I've still got one success.
To see if you got your deal a little bit. So he's essentially going to ask you for first right of refusal on the first leg of goods as part as this town goes, which means that he's going to want to get the best stuff first, since he's essentially the first leg of this trip. And you'll be able to negotiate, for all intents and purposes, how much of that he has access to as far as barter and trade goes. And it's actually, we're opposing, so I'm gonna roll his stuff, and essentially mine will cancel out yours, and we're just gonna do this in one roll. All right?
46.
Against your barter
My
bribe.
bar is 45.
45.
And I have this degree of success that I banked.
Yep, that you banked it from the round. So, I think you guys struck a very favorable deal in your side of matters. So, you basically
Thanks, guys, not here.
are going to be able to get access to this line of the road. He will make the appropriate changes necessary to Archtown in order to have the train go through. And even though he's getting first pick, it's of only a limited quantity of items. So he can't overbuy and hoard and resell, essentially, so to speak. So you gave him first right of refusal on items, but only to a limited quantity. This is a total win on your circumstances. All right, well, we'll make it happen. Thank you for your time, Asher
Thank you.
Emerson
For
Stern.
being very
III.
understanding.
So,
My name.
what can we think about for a down payment?
Down payment.
All right, I'm just fucking with you.
You had me going there.
All right, let's get you and your team through this. We got a lot of moving to do.
All right.
So you guys take. Oh yeah. So yeah, absolutely, Jenny and Wraith. You can actually see there's a lot of people who are roaming around, and part of this is again a couple of limited families, but you can see that there is definitely a couple of rag and bone men, kind of barter trader types. They all essentially seem to be either like Terry here, who is a little bit of a gatherer in his own right, but even more interesting, there's an old woman who, Wraith, you probably immediately gravitate towards. And she
Age and wisdom.
of age and wisdom. But she mostly gets your attention because she turns to you from her rocking chair that she kind of propped on the porch of her lean-to, and she goes, "You there, boy. You have the mark of the devil, it appears. What are you doing?"
Maybe devil stuff, old lady.
Our little charmer.
Well, you've got the mouth of the serpent as well, too. You're going to bring death to this place. I can see it. I can feel it in my bones.
I don't need to bring it. It's already here.
You stink of it. There's something about you I don't like.
You can sense it.
I can. I can feel it. As if there's some kind of weight upon you that you carry a lot with you. As if you sold your soul to something more devious than anyone else has to deal with.
That was long ago. I've made many amends since then.
A man like you doesn't make amends. He just creates more. That's what you do when you deal with Satan. He doesn't give the deal back. He just makes the contract longer. And she watches, she gets out of her chair and slams the door behind her.
I look disturbed.
So Asher, you come down from Bear's hovel, so to speak, and you meet up with Jenny and Wraith, who are still kind of hanging around. Wraith looks like he just had an awkward encounter with a local.
Bear, the burly fellow who runs this place, agreed to let us bring the rail through in return for first pick of goods. And yeah, we simply make the modifications necessary to the town and the rail itself, and we will be on our way.
It's going to take about a day
To modify.
to modify in order to get the rail driver through.
Can we get the rail driver closer to the door?
Absolutely.
Okay. Because we don't know what you just said. We're
Right.
somewhere else.
Where are Band-Aid and
Yeah,
The other
you know, look, there was this kid who was really sick. And,
Okay.
you know, they took him back to the rail driver and they're hydrating him. So,
we're using medical supplies
yes.
in the locals?
Yes, we are. We are. I thought it would be, you know, an act of charity, something to get them on our side. But you did that, so good job.
What does the kid have?
I'm not sure, a viral infection.
Okay, I'd like to go out to the rail driver and have a
Okay.
look.
So Asher kind of comes into the rail driver.
Oh, well, okay.
You know, as he kind of
As he's
pops up
wanted
per
to
his
do.
what he suggested and sees, you know, the boy laid out, and he's now.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to have a quick moment with that too.
Oh, please. Yes.
When we brought him in, I wanted to have you set him down, and then I want to spend survival points to get an IV drip.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then I'm actually going to hand you the drip, and I'm like, can you set this up? And then I'm
Absolutely.
going to start examining the kid, but I'm keeping an eye on Ray.
Okay. Yeah.
Is the kid conscious?
Barely.
In and out?
Yeah. In and out. The fever's. He's moaning. He's essentially dealing with an immense amount of pain and fever at the moment.
I'm going to talk to him while we're going. Just
Okay.
to keep him
So if you set
aware.
up the IV, then I'll administer like the procedure of putting it in.
Drip
Right.
line in. Cool.
So, sweetie, what's your name?
Tim.
Tim. That's a good name. It's a good, strong name. Tim, we're just going to do some tests here and give you some medicine to make you feel better. Is that okay, sweetie?
Mom says I'm not supposed to get help from strangers.
But we're not strangers. We talked to your mom.
I'm Band-Aid.
With a name like that, he can probably fix you up, don't you think?
I like that name.
Thanks.
I'm Ray.
pretty, Ray.
Thank you.
What am I, chopped liver?
You're funny.
You
Ow.
got the saline in yet?
Yeah, it's
a great personality.
It's in.
It hurts.
I know it hurts, sweetie. Hey, do you think that we can give you a little medicine by your mouth? Do you have any aspirin? Get this
try.
fever down?
It might be a little too acidic for his stomach. Isn't anything to eat.
There should be Advil in there too, or some kind of.
I'm gonna see if I can find acetaminophen.
Yeah, or ibuprofen.
Well, ibuprofen is less
would be better.
Yeah, for the fever. So
Yes.
he takes the medicine. You can
We can
tell.
like crush it up.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah. So you maybe mix it in water and let
Yeah.
him drink it.
At this point, then that's the moment that I
Yeah,
wanted to get
so
to.
he's taking the IV, it's dripping, you can drink. You can actually see, even in just a few minutes while Asher is coming in, that
Most of the time,
that it's helping the fever a lot. Like, this kid has had nothing.
Once I've got the thing closer up to the door, I'll pop out and help them inside.
We're going to start clearing all this, yes? It's better if you do the clearing for this woman's house and that I not do it. She won't trust me. If I change things on her house, she'll think I'm trying to wreck it.
Okay.
I'll do 2 other houses if you do this one.
Oh, deal. I like that.
If you wanted to help, I could watch the kid.
Don't really want to leave his side.
Okay. Never mind.
I actually am happy to report that between your 3 help, you can actually get this thing done in half a day. You could be out by tomorrow morning. You also helped a kid, and he, at this point, even 24 hours, his fever broke through the middle of the night with the medicine and the hydration, and by the next morning, you were able to deliver her back to Sarah with a huge amount of improvement as far as ability goes, and she can't even begin to thank you.
Sarah?
Okay, all right, all right, thank you. So now, you can pick the rail driver up in the morning to be able to take it towards Eureka, which will begin in the next episode.